Hello.
Hello, everybody. You got a new
Right.
jumper on?
Me?
Yeah.
No, it's my t-shirt over my long black sleeve.
I thought I can't see a hood.
No, I know. Were you thinking that you didn't have one?
No. No.
Where's mine? Where's
Where's
mine?
mine?
Right, we're so early today. I mean, we're late, but we're early late. That there aren't that many people on at the moment. Okay, let's have a look. Who is on?
There's
Vicky's
only
here from
11.
us. I
What?
know. What's going on? Vicky's here from Australia. Good morning. Good morning. Another beautiful fall day in Wisconsin. Oh, how lovely, says
Hi,
Ellie
Ellie.
Garvin. Nikki's here. Evening all. Vicky, what is the time where you are? It's got to be.
It's about 5-ish, isn't it?
It's
5
here
o'clock
she
in the
goes.
morning.
Not too bad now. We've just started daylight saving. Used to be 5 a.m. Clocks went forward last Sunday. Now it's 6 a.m. in the morning.
Our clocks will go forward in a minute, and then you'll be back to 5 a.m.
You'll be back again. That's right. Good morning. No, it's 8 a.m. on Saturday morning for you guys. For you, Joe, in New Zealand, in your part of New Zealand. Jackie Kennedy says, good evening, everyone, from a very warm Lanzarote. Marvellous, marvellous. Janet's here. Evening, all. Lydia's here. Good afternoon, everyone, from Ontario, Canada. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone. I mean, for Canada and America, it's just a sensible time of the day that these lives come on. It's afternoon telly, isn't it? Basically. Where everybody else, it's either late or early. Ingrid's here. Hello, Ingrid. And Janet says, think some people are having a problem with the link clicking on the wrong part. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? Hello from Maryland, says Lynn. Hello, Lynn. Good to see you.
Oh, yeah. Shall I go in and see
I
if
had a
you covered
moment
it
with
up?
the link. Sure. Well, what have I done? What have I done?
I don't know. I didn't notice, but I'll go in and have a look.
Go and have a look, and then you might have to go back into StreamYard, copy the link and repost it. I don't know what I've done. I just thought I'd done it as per normal, but maybe I haven't.
Maybe, I'll go check. I'm sure it's fine.
Yes, it's a good time here. It's 3 p.m. Marvellous. 3 p.m. Well, this evening, folks, I'm going to give it to the New Zealand and the Australian people first on this live, because for your dedication, we're opening the booking link this evening today to book the workshops, and it's first come, first served. And you do also have an option of paying a 50% deposit. So you can pay in full, boom, done, forget about it until the workshop turns up, or you can pay a 50% deposit. But I'll talk to you more about that when we've got more people in later on, because it looks like they're still struggling to get in. So yeah, it didn't come up as active. I had to copy and paste. Oh,
I'm going in to sort it, but I think I've got to leave because I can't find the blinking link.
Oh, the blinking link?
The blinking link.
Okay. Well, you leave then.
Yeah, I'll go and sort it, and then I'll come back.
Okay. Bye. See you in a mo.
I'll go and sort it all out. See you in a minute.
Okay, no, bye. Bye. So weird. The link took me to the 90 live, but I'm here now. Oh, that's weird then. Oh, so everybody's scrabbling around in the ether trying to find us. Oh, well, it's just you and us then, isn't it? It's just you and us. So what have I been up to? Vicky Ware says, fantastic, can't wait. Neither can I. We're so excited now. And we were going to do 2 dates in Australia, in Sunbury, down near Melbourne. But we've now been offered a date further up, a venue in a place called Yass. You know what that is probably if you're Australian, and that's near Canberra, so that's closer to Sydney. And it looks like we're probably going there, but I've put a to be confirmed on that one. So that's not available to book yet, just in case. And if that doesn't work out, we'll go back to a second sitting in Sunbury. But hopefully the Victoria one will work out. The venue's fine. It's just making sure that we absolutely have the legs, because we can't do it without the legs. Hi, Sir Sarah Lou. Hi. Cheers. Gluten-free beer this evening. Well, it's getting close to the Scotland workshop, which will be next week. We leave on Tuesday. We leave on Tuesday. And we fly to Edinburgh. Gary and Laura are driving up with the legs, and they're going to meet us in Edinburgh. And then that'll be the Wednesday evening. And then on the Thursday evening, we are going direct to the venue, which we're very excited about. Everybody seems to be buzzing about this Scotland workshop. It's just so many people are going to be turning up from all over the place, from the challenges, from just booking it brand new, having not done the challenges, and new students that we've not met yet, because they were students from the challenges in the Clydesdale group, and other students that we do know. It's very exciting. Can't wait. It's all going to be fun. Vicky says, I will be coming to Sunbury. Yay! That's the 3rd weekend in March. Can't wait to meet you. I'm so looking forward to that. Ellie Garvin says, so jumping into it, any chance we could take a look at my post on the Phoenix group page asking about HSB versus compaction? We could do that. I think that's a good idea. I'm away Monday. Can't wait. Oh, you're off. Boom. On Monday, you're on. Oh, gosh. That's only 2 days away. Exciting. All right, Ellie, let's go and have a quick look. What have I done here? Let me just put those next to it. I've got so many things open at the moment. Share my screen. Whereabouts is it, Ellie? Will I be able to find it easily? You know what I'm like. Okay, here we are. We're in the group, and oh yeah, look at that. Oh, what have I done? This is when I take over, and I should just leave it to Gary, because he can get it done better than me. Right. Megan. Oh, we spoke about Megan today. That's abscessing. That's classic abscessing. Karen, Ellie, here she is. All right, let's just make that a bit larger. Can you see that? Let me have a look. Yeah. Oh, he's back. Did you sort it?
Yes, I put a separate post up with the link that worked. The link was right. It was just not a highlighted blue one, so people would have had to have copied and pasted it, and of course, it's different. So I put it in the comments of the original post and put a new post up.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. I wonder why I did that. That's weird. Ellie just asked if we'd Ellie just asked if we go in and have a look at her post. So here we are. We're in.
Okay.
Hello, Gary. Oh, you're going to be answering this one. I'm finally posting photos of that mare's feet. I'm questioning HSB versus solar compaction. Oh, it's always a difficult one. I asked about on the 10-day challenge Zoom call on September the 19th. Was that on your call? It must have been.
It was, yeah.
She's 5 weeks. Sorry about my sniffing. I've still got a cold. She's 5 weeks past trim. I believe I have only done one trim TPW on her, the one 5 weeks ago. And I did take some sole off all the way around because it was rock hard. And I believed it was compacted. Why? Now I'd like to know more pro opinions. I read that as onions then. I don't know why. Now I'd like to know more pro onions. I'm looking specifically at the crevice in the collateral grooves. Yes, because there have been people in the past who have talked about that at different depths. Will guide you. But that really is only all about the back of the foot, because it's graduated, and that's not going to tell you, and it is not precise. It will tell you that there's more there, but it isn't going to tell you much about the front of the foot. It does not blend smoothly down from the white line all the way to the frog, but kind of drops off where the hoof pick would run when picking feet. I'm sure it's going to become obvious in a minute, Ellie. Is that normal or signs of compaction? I got her at 3.5 years, having never had a trim or shoe. That was in April 2020. So what's she now? 4, 5, 6, 7.5, right? Nearly 8. Her feet were pretty contracted, and have expanded quite a bit. That's very good. She was getting PPT trimming up until 5 weeks ago. She's on hay 24/7. Free choice, Mad Barn Omni-T, and free, don't know what that is, and free choice loose Redmond's 10 fine salt. Thank you. Beep. Okay, here she is. What's she called? Did you give her as a name? What's her name? We need to know. I need to know what she's called, Ellie. Got a name. Name. Right. I'm sure it'll come up in a minute. Right. Let's have a little look-see. Oh, there we go. Where you go, Gary? This is yours.
Oh. This is going to be weird. Me talking about it and I can't drive.
You can share it if you like.
No, that's okay. It's okay. Okay, so
as you speak, I will be like your puppet and your ventriloquist dummy, and I will move the arrow around.
Okay, can we do jazz hands, please? Okay. We don't know. We'll have to call it Little Ellie.
Nevada.
Oh, Nevada. All right.
There we go.
Thanks, Ellie. Okay, so she's not grossly overweight, but she's a little bit lumpy and bumpy, isn't she? Bless her. So she's not too cresty on the neck, but she's got a few lumps and bumps in places where perhaps there shouldn't be. But other than that, not too bad, but she's got a little bit of a way to go. Let's have a look at the feet. Okay, so we've got some rings, but they're not hugely deep, but they are fairly frequent. So we know that things are changing, but you didn't mention anything. You said that she was on 24/7 hay, but how long has that been going on for? So has the change been relatively recent, I suppose, is the next question. Ellie? The coronary band looks at a nice angle. And
the rings aren't diverging particularly.
No,
so that
everything
shows us
seems to be in fairly good balance.
Yep. So that's a good sign.
Which is a great sign. Okay, so next one.
Oh, I don't know what I did then. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so she's got her active wear point at the front there. And some people would think that she may be squaring her toe off, but she's not, because she's got her active wear point where it should be.
It's actually back here.
And
just
in the quarters where it looks as though it's just that it's not wearing as efficiently as where the active wear point is. So this is very often to be expected when we're nearly due a trim. So this is pretty normal.
And oftentimes, Gary, we get people, especially on back feet, when this happens. This is funny. They don't tend to say you're dragging their feet on front feet when this happens, but as soon as it happens on a back, the comment always is they're dragging their back feet.
Yeah.
And the reason they don't really necessarily see them dragging their back feet, or they may have seen that a little bit of a drag once or twice. And then immediately they think that that's what's going on here. But in fact, it isn't. It's just that this horse very much particularly likes their waterline just so. And everything else is just growing around it, which makes it look squared off. And after a trim, don't notice it. Okay.
So that's good. Okay, can we blow that up a wee bit? Okay, so this is 5 weeks in. So this isn't bad at all.
No.
We've got you can see I'm using my arrow. Don't use your arrow, Gary. You've got to use Lindsay's pink one. So we'll start at the back of the foot. So you can see that those heels are a little bit above the hard sole plane. You can see that. So that's what needs trimming. But what's happened as you go to the toe quarter, can you see that the hoof wall is a little bit above the hard sole plane? So that needs to be trimmed as well. But I would imagine once you check the balance, there will be very little, if anything, to come off the toe.
Once those heels are back.
Once those heels are back, yeah.
You'll end up rasping into this area here, is what
Yes.
you'll end up doing. And then you'll have toe
There'll
ground
be a little
contact.
toe callus there.
Yeah. And that was the aim of this question, because she was wondering about callousing. But the bars look good, don't they?
Yeah, bars look good.
For 5 weeks, pretty good.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that there's a huge amount of compaction here. So we don't want you going and digging and being investigative. What's that word? Investigative. I can't say it.
Go on, do it one more time. It's funny. Go on, you might get it. You might get it the third time.
Yeah, but I doubt it.
Investigative.
That's
a very
the one.
difficult word.
Thank you very much.
Investigative.
Still can't do it. Anyway.
You've made me go completely wrong now. I bet everybody's now going investigative.
And around the edge of the heel, you can see that some of the outer hoof wall is folded over slightly. This will all tidy up with a rasp. But that's I have to say, that's pretty nice foot.
It's not
just
bad.
Needs a little bit of maintenance.
It does. We've got a little bit of a breakdown in here, though, haven't we?
Yeah, worth keeping an eye on that.
Maybe blobbing a bit of our special cream in there.
Yeah.
Which is half and halfy. Doesn't have to be exactly half and half, but a cream that's got a fungal treatment in it. So something like athlete's foot cream or ladies special cream.
Yes.
And a foot, and then an antiseptic cream, something
General
that isn't
antiseptic, something like Savlon. Pseudocrem's a bit thick, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want something a bit looser.
Yeah, and pseudocrem tends to take over. So you want, and you can just see that it's quite black here, and something's lurking. We don't know whether it's lurking underneath there either. And this is it's quite deep, and you can tell it's sort of black, and you can also say it's degraded there. So over time, as these heels have probably been a little bit higher than the hard sole plane, this frog has been aching for some contact and hasn't really had it, and there's probably been a bit of contraction there, and then we've had breakdown. And honestly, for some horses, you don't need a lot for this to happen. So no. I'd make sure that don't go poking anything down it, like with your hoof pick or anything, but just give a gentle sort of brush out, and then pop some cream in there every day. And if this is the same on the other feet as well, you have to do it in all 4 feet every day for at least 6 weeks. And then after that, every other day for another 4 to 6 weeks. And after that, maybe once a week. And honestly, if you follow that plan and you're religious about doing it, then this will clear up. This will probably be still here, so you've got to keep your eye on that slit, which has lots of different names. People call it lots of different names. And then it may gradually then start to heal from underneath, or which is what usually happens, it tends to the older to crappier material dies off, and then it opens up a little bit. But it will then cease to become a problem. But that's painful. That can be painful. That.
Okay, so Ellie's come up with a couple of comments, so I'll bung them in whilst we're talking. So she's been on 24/7 hay basically since I got her in 2020. So is that her sole diet, or does she actually get some grass as well? That would be really handy to know. I've been trimming her for a little over 2 years, more PPT, and left the heels too high. Usual. But now you're doing different. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Awesome job. So that's encouraging to hear that the balance is decent and I likely didn't do too much harm. I have to say, for 5 weeks after the trim, it would have been nice to see it at the time of the trim. Perhaps that's the next one, Ellie.
The next
then we can
post.
do, that's the next post. Looking really good and really encouraging. And I like this comment too. You should have seen the frog crack before I took her heels down 5 weeks ago. It's much improved already due to the contact and wear. Great.
That's brilliant. Really
That's
good.
great that you can actually see that. That's superb. Well done.
And did you feel confident, Ellie, going down to that? Because it looks to me and Gary like you did go down to the hard sole plane at that heels, because that's a normal amount of foot to trim at a 5 to 6 week interval, but totally normal. But what we're hoping for and what we're aiming for when we do this kind of trimming to Mother Nature's constants, not PPT, is that we are not guessing, and therefore P3, there's P3, it's a little triangular P3, and it's not doing this in between each trim and at each trim. It just goes up and down, basically, because the whole foot remains balanced. The horse is desperate to keep their feet balanced, and if you set them off onto balanced feet, they'll keep them balanced, won't they?
They will.
Right, next photo. Oh, there you go. Nice and clean. This is how we like photos to be taken.
And you can tell that she's on a fairly abrasive surface. Look, there's virtually nothing to take off those bars.
Yeah, look at that. That's pretty good. That's really good.
That's really nice. There'll be a little bit when you take the heels down. You'll have a little bit of bar that sticks up then. You might need to run a knife over. But other than that, that's a nice foot.
Yeah. And this here is a little bit of callus. And this is part of her pillar of support. This is a left 4. And it's very usual for the pillar of support to be just on the inside. And then this is where she doesn't need so much horn, where she's actually just gently breaking over. So she comes down and then breaks over. So that's a usual pattern as it comes down, leaning on that inner side, and then breaking over just slightly outwards. Boop, boom, boom. That's how it works. That's why the shape looks like that. But looks pretty good to me. That's honestly, Gary and I'd be very pleased with that. Be going, oh, lovely, nice bit of maintenance trim. That's a 2-minute tickle.
Yep. 2-minute tickle.
It's a 2-minute tickle.
And also,
but you
once you've actually done the trim, Ellie, all this squareness that's at the front won't be there. You would have done the trim, you would have got the hoof wall the same thickness all the way around, and it won't look square at the front anymore because you've now taken off the excess that she hasn't done herself.
That's right.
It's really that simple.
And you can see, can't you, at no time, even if you looked from the top, and for those people who perhaps would get this completely misinterpreted because they don't understand that you need to look from below and understand what's going on with the horse's foot. They look at it from the top and go, oh, the horse is wearing its foot away. It's not doing that at all. Look how much foot they've left. She's left. Look how much foot Nevada's left. She's left that beautiful in a hoof wall. She's no fool.
Water line is in play.
She's got it. The water line is in play. So when you take these heels down and you look forward, you're going to see a blip of sole here. But with just 3 or 4 strikes of the rasp, you will be able to balance to the wall because the wall will be in play. So that, I think, was your question all about compaction. You don't have to worry about that here. This isn't this isn't a compacted sole. This isn't a compacted sole, but you, again, you can see here, can't you, how this is broken down, that frog, and how it just needs now to heal. Now, it's really interesting because frogs like this are trying to heal. They are damaged. And oftentimes when horses are thrown into shoes or any other device, maybe something that's glued on for a long period of time, and prior to that they get their knife out and have a good hack at this, wanting to neaten it up and smartening it, that doesn't help. If you've got any little flaps that are sort of not connected and just flappy, then you can nipper those off, and that will just open this up a little bit more. But honestly, it's tender back there when it's in this state. And like you said, Ellie, it's getting better all the time, which is fantastic. And it looks like your environment's really quite arid, which is brilliant. But just help it along a bit and plop a bit of that cream in every day. And I can tell you that within 6 weeks, by the next trim, you're going to see difference again. And that back of the foot is really going to start developing, because she's not going to feel sore standing on it.
Considering that was one trim, according to Mother Nature's blueprint, there are a lot of little wins there. A lot of little wins. Good job.
Well done. Well done. Well done. There she is, little Nevada. Awesome. Good job, Ellie. Well done. What else did she send? She's the sand collet. Ah, she's the sand collet from a few lives ago, where she snacks on the bittiest bits of grass. Did you put rubber matting down or change your routine a little bit? Oh, why is that not just changed? Changed. Garrett's not changing.
Do you want to go on to the next one? Do you?
Oh, I've got it now. The heels were a little terrifying because I took off around 1/4 of an inch. When I did her 5 weeks ago, her frogs were lower than her heels. Poor gal was trying to cut so hard for contact. And then it just breaks down, that frog. Monica's giving you big claps. Oh, no, waves. Oh, you're waving at us. I'm probably clapping for you as well.
Hi, Monica.
Wavy, wavy. Hello. Oh, we go backwards a bit. Leah's here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Leah.
Maggie says, late to the show. Well, we're always late, so why don't you be late? Vivian's here. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi, Vivian.
Hello, hello. Connie's here, just joining now. Hello, everyone. Sorry about the link malarkey. There's a bit of confusion there. I don't know what happened. I cocked it up, I think. I don't know. Or Facebook. I'm blaming Facebook. Sandra's here.
Hi, Sandra.
Hillary's here. Hello, Hillary. Good to see you.
Hi, Hillary.
Becky says, hello, I made it. Was watching day 96. That's why I couldn't join the chat. I'm sorry. I think I screwed it up for everybody. Jackie said I was having a problem with the link. But here now. Okay. So, Sarah says, could we look at the cob's foot where the wall has damage, please? I would. Can you find the name of the post, of the person of the post? Connie says, if horses don't have different surface area, not abrasive enough, would you then expect more growth after 5 weeks? That's a tricky one, actually. That's not one that's easy to answer, because there is no, that isn't, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And also it really depends on how well the trim is done, because honestly, we can come along and do a trim on a horse that isn't on a ideal environment, but their feet are in equilibrium with the environment because they're used to that environment. And so then when we come along to trim again, it's the same sort of scenario as that, maybe a little bit more, but it's not like, whoa, crazy. When you see such a lot of bar and such a lot of heel and a lot of foot to trim in just 6 weeks, that tells you different stories. That tells you that the trim was probably not as down to the HSP as it should be. Or it's a new horse to HSP trimming, to this kind of trim, and it was quite compacted in places, and you've trimmed it, you've sent it away, let it go on its way to do the co-trimming, and you come back and you're like, loads of sole has just gone boop and popped out. And you're like, oh, now we got to trim. Now there's time to trim. But that shouldn't be going on for months. That should just be 2 or 3 trims, and you've popped it. So that's a good question. She also grows a thick winter coat. So this time of year, she's growing much slower than the rest of the year. What's growing slower than the rest of the year?
It won't be the foot.
It isn't the foot.
It won't be the foot.
Ellie says, I haven't got a mat stand because that's not where the sandy grass is. Oh, typical. Viv Avery's here. Good morning, a bit late, but I'm so glad to be here. Yes, we're so glad to see you. Becky says, do you mean this one, Sarah? Which one? I can't copy that link, so
no.
Whatever. I'll do that in a second. Belter Belly. Belter Belly has next post down on the page. Right, I'll go look. Hoof is growing slower. Not really.
No.
Honestly, the change in hoof growth rates through the seasons aren't vast. There are different things that happen through the seasons to do with the sole, which gives you the impression that things aren't quite working the same, and other stuff at play as well. It's not. Yeah, it isn't generally much to do with that at all. It's a little bit of a myth. Then why does she grow hoof slower this time of year? She's not. And you can't tell, Ellie, yet. Let's have that conversation next year when you've done an entire year. You've only done one trim. When you've done an entire year trimming to the HSP and keeping it up, then you can tell us. Then you can tell us. Or do you mean this one? Oh, goodness. Connie says, the ponies I'm trimming seem to always have more growth. Not extreme, but just more extreme, but more the just a quick grass. Their diet is not grass free. They still have about 5 hours grass. What in the which way are we talking? Winter or summer? Define what you mean. Faster in the summer or faster in the winter? Tell us what you mean. That's what I was talking about. Explain that more. I'm learning so much. Right. First of all, what I'd like to say to you is, does the ground stay constant all year round? Does it get softer and harder? We're not saying there isn't a change, but there's not the change everybody thinks there is, right? The stimulation does occur, but truly, it's pretty standard. But what does happen is different things happen to the sole, and the foot isn't quite as hard to trim in different times of the year. It doesn't appear to have quite as much to trim as other times of the year. In fact, a lot of people say it slows down in the winter, and in fact, what we see is almost more to trim in the winter. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So no. It's not quite the science everybody thinks it is. Right. Julie says, second Saturday in the month, tomorrow night. Is it Challenge Club? I've got, I had Challenge Club down as last week. When did you last do your, because you did the Challenge Club, didn't you, last time?
I did. I have no idea when it was though, because I think it was a week. It was a week late, wasn't it? Because we were away.
Right. So very much could be Challenge Club. We'll talk about it, Gary and I, after the live.
We shall.
And we shall discuss,
decide.
depending on what we're doing. Sarah says, I noticed the growth seems less now. We are at the HSP each trim. Before that, the hooves looks wild at 6 weeks. When you start to trim to the HSP properly, now this is not we're not talking about hooves that are all over the place because they're still in deep rehab. We're talking about maintenance trims where hooves are reasonably healthy, like Ellie's. Okay, you've got some frog issues going on there, but the foot is reasonably healthy. There might still be a few little dietary things going on because of the rings that we can see, but generally those feet tend to be fairly healthy. And when you start trimming to the HSP and that foot gets used to that, the foot just begins to go, I know what I'm doing now. Now I'm not being changed every single trim. And so I know everything's working together. Because just imagine when those heels are down at the HSP, that sole and that heel are like, oh, hi, good to see you. Oh, good. Oh, you're here now. That's fantastic. We're all here together. Oh, the bars are here too. Marvellous. Oh, and the walls. Yes, party time. Let's all join in together and work together. Whereas when you've got stuff higher and more jammed up and bulked up in different places, the foot's going, I've got absolutely no clue what I'm meant to be doing here, but yeah, that's what we see all the time. Connie says, not talking about fast growth, but more growth than my horses. My horses have free choice hay and some gravel and sand areas. You'd think so too, wouldn't you? Interesting. It's interesting. Julie says, because next week we're all in the pub. Yes. And next week, Gary, we've got a 10-day session on the Saturday morning, which clearly we can't do.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that because that's normally in a morning. So perhaps Julie and David wouldn't mind me going and sitting in the kitchen or something, and then I can do that whilst you're doing a lecture. We can multitask.
Well, multitask. That sounds like a good idea because
the only thing being is that you got to make sure that you've got your laptop, because my laptop can't be in two places at once.
I'll have my laptop. I'll definitely bring my laptop. Yeah, that's true. No, you won't be able to do that. Yes, thank you for pointing that out, Julie. Viv says, I agree, Sarah. Mexico's feet have seemed less for such a long time now, looking after herself, even a wet, muddy winter.
As you get everything in more natural alignment, shall we say, everything in sync with each other, the amount that needs trimming and balancing does seriously reduce. And for some horses, depending on the terrain that they're on, very often don't need trimming at all.
No, even in the summer or the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're in the right environment. I trim every 6 weeks, says Viv, and that's right, and that's decent amount of time, because if your horse is kicking out a load of foot, then you're not trimming as you should be to the HSP, because they just shouldn't, and they're getting themselves into equilibrium, because all you're doing is a tickle. That's all it should be. And you should be looking at your horse's foot at 1 week going, nothing to do there. At 2 weeks, nothing to do with there. At 3 weeks, can I see any hoof wall? I'm not sure whether I can actually. At 4 weeks, 5 weeks, yeah, just starting to see a little bit now. At 6 weeks, I've got something to trim. That's how it should be. But in fact, what happens with a lot of our rehab cases is that because their feet aren't in equilibrium with themselves as well as the environment, and the diet and management often is off kilter as well, you don't get that. You get crazy things beginning to happen and lots more heel being kicked out than toe, of course, because the growth rates aren't even. Do you know something? I've just watched myself doing this. And when I scoot through the video and I'm trying to find a thumbnail for the YouTube, you're sat here like this. You don't move. And I'm going,
I do talk with my hands when I'm talking. I do exactly the same.
Aston says, so sorry, late to the party. Don't you worry. It's lovely to
That's
have you
not good
here.
enough, Aston. You must try harder.
Ellie says, thank you both so much. Relearning can be such a rough time, and you're both so kind through it, even though I say the same silly things you've corrected thousands of times from so many folks throughout your time stream.
It's fine. Don't be hard on yourself. Changing old habits is hard.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Changing old habits is hard. So
it is.
Give yourself a break, Ellie.
Yeah, and a pat on the back. You've done well.
Indeed.
I enjoyed that. Well done. Good pickies. Okay, I think you just answered my questions. Oh, good. The ponies still have some stretch lamina, but all have a good angle growing in. That's good. That's good.
That's good.
That is good. You know, all of you watching this have horses at all different stages, and some of you will have numerous horses, and they will be at different stages as well. It's so very tempting to try and make everything look the same, and you can't do that. You have to go at the pace that your horse needs.
Often people say they want to see pictures of nicely trimmed, healthy feet. And we can do that. We can do a lot of that. But if we do that, and then you go and carve those feet to look like that, that could be extremely detrimental to your individual horse. That's why we don't.
Yeah.
So when you're trimming to the Phoenix way, it is that foot that's in front of you at that particular time, and you remove the excess. That's it. It's not about how it looks aesthetically.
No.
Because it'll change.
No, that's right. You're just removing that which the horse would remove if they were in full equilibrium with their environment and their growth rates.
Exactly.
Which we do find, which does happen, by the way. Yeah. Julie says, we can find you a space, Gary. Lots of dogs for company. Oh, he'll like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Viv Avery says, lol, Lindsay, just like that. Can't see any need to trim for weeks and only trim to check balance. Yeah. And oftentimes we say to people, it's bars. Just keep watching the bars. Watch the bars. Just watch the bars.
Or what's Laura saying? Heels, bars, and a roll. Sounds like a good night out to me.
We had that down the arm, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that was a classic. She's so sharp. Cawsworth, Bethan, hello, darling. PPT is driving me crazy at the moment. Do you know something? Before we move on, I'm just glad we've got a name for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all know what that means.
The phrase, Linz?
I like coining phrases. Well, it's important.
It is important.
It's important because it means exactly, we all know what that means. It basically means you're not doing it to Mother Nature's constants. And I love the fact that we can use acronyms so we don't have to say the whole thing. So PPT is driving me crazy at the moment. Seeing horses go backwards and horses just not recovering, not here at GTL, but in other places. People asking me for help, but they just don't have the hoof care professional they need. More HM trimmers needed, please.
Well, we're trying our best.
Well, we need, when we come to your workshop next year, you never know, there may be more. Every single workshop we go to, people are wanting to do this 2-year course and become trimmer. I mean, imagine it, right? You're going to go out and change people's lives. These people, like many of you before you found us, and still some of you wishing perhaps that you'd found us a long time ago, thinking to yourself, these people, maybe one or two of you, many of you watching, I want to sort this out for my horses. I love this and I want to know more, and I know that I can do this. And if I can do it for mine, I want to help other people. It's the biggest buzz ever. I have recently, over the last 5 days, been in a tete-a-tete shall we say, with a vet in Australia. And it's been one of it, because he's in Australia, the conversations have been a bit sporadic. Well, I wouldn't say it was conversation, not really. And doesn't get it. Still, in his mind, we are nobodies. He said quite openly, quite early on in the conversation, you just don't have enough experience yet. You don't have enough experience yet. You haven't seen as many hooves as I have, him, Svet, and you haven't had the experience of the rehab. So you are naive, basically, in thinking that it's a one-trick pony fix, that you can only use your method. An HSP method and long toes aren't new. They've been around for a while. Oh, really? Could you point us in the direction of people that are using that? No, I didn't think so. And it kind of went on like that. Also, a few little jibes like, oh, you're just basically jealous that you're not a vet and you couldn't make the grade and stuff like that. You know, real low blow stuff. Real low blow stuff. And then he keeps saying, good luck, I'm done with this conversation, and then comes straight back. It because you can't leave it. It's until they realize, well, I know that they do realize this, but I think ego is so massive that they are the hoof care specialists. They're not.
Well, clearly they're not.
I'd give them 10 hooves. And we said this the other day, 1 hoof, trim that. 10 hooves now. Let's bump it up. You've got 10 hooves to trim. Trim them. You guarantee it'll be PPT.
Yeah.
And that's not how it should be. We have stopped listening to the horse. And I explained how we'd had far more success than the traditional world. Wasn't having that. And just kept saying, where are your x-rays? Where are your x-rays? Where are your x-rays? And I said, well, we don't own an x-ray machine, so we are bound by the owner. If the owner doesn't want to get an x-ray because they're too frightened of your profession turning up and telling them that they're going to chop the toes off their horse, who is now sounder than they've been for the last few years, that's not on us. That's on the profession. That's us going, look, we can't. I mean, we're showing more now than we've ever shown.
Yes.
Remember, we've been doing this for years, but we have very rarely put it up. You've only got to go back on the HM public page and look back 3 years, probably, maybe. And the scoffing and the remarks and the titter, who the hell do you think you are? You know, you're harming horses and all of that. It's been going on for years. And we've stuck to our principles because Mother Nature and Lucy, Mother Nature and Lucy, they know what they're talking about. And it's not for us to make those decisions. And that's all that kept coming back at me from this conversation.
Do people really think, and I suppose because of social media and the Phoenix Way and popularity, sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. I've lost where I was going.
I did just,
yeah.
You went, do you poor Gary?
What are we saying?
Don't we love him? Oh, give him a little.
Very profound to say, and it's just gone out of my head.
He's tired. He's been trimming all week.
Well, 12 days trimming, and I come home
I'll
and
keep talking about
coming out my ear rolls.
I know, me too. Took me nearly 3 hours to sort my personal messages.
Because I want to get that point across because it was a good one.
so basically they are forever putting us down, and I don't pull any punches anymore because I'm done with it. I'm done with the nicey.
It's come back to me.
Yeah, go on then, quick.
It's come back to me.
Before you forget
Do you think that we would have 60 students in a school, of which some of them are popping out the other end already? We have other HMB pros that have worked with us for many years. You, 20 years experience. Caroline, 20 years experience. Me, 12 years experience. And we've put all of this together. If we were frauds and didn't know what we were doing, do you think we'd still be here?
No.
So
no.
all the people that don't get it or don't want to get it, just be real. Do your due diligence. Just because the Phoenix page was created 10 months ago and is just about to hit 10,000 people, that is not where we started.
No.
That's not where we started.
No,
I think
that's
that's
what you
being
think.
missed.
Maybe that's what they think.
Missed.
Ah, yes.
That's being missed.
Perhaps.
So I think perhaps this person that is having a little tete-a-tete needs to go off and do his due diligence on who he's actually talking to in the first place.
Oh yeah, I gave him loads of links to go and have a look at, but it didn't matter. Wasn't convinced, and it doesn't matter what I show them; they're not convinced unless I'm sat there in front of X-rays. And I said, well, I've got plenty of X-rays, and I've got plenty of X-rays to show how bad the equine world are getting it wrong. Series and series of X-rays, and then I said, do you think you could show me some? Because you're discounting all the videos and photographs and all of those sorts of things that I showed him. And I said, where are yours? Where are all your videos of horses trotting about and cantering and jumping up and down barefoot with their own natural feet, having rehabbed out of P3 penetration? Where are those? Don't just hark on about the X-rays, of which I could pull to pieces a million times, but come and show us that. No, that's not forthcoming. It's the whole put down. It's the so everything I've been and this they can't let go of. So everything I know I've been taught, researched and worked on over all these years is wrong, is it? Don't be an extremist. Why do people have to be extremists? No, probably not. But a big chunk of it is. So no, not all of it is, but a big chunk of it is. Now, we're not vets. We're not saying that we can go out and tell people about every last medical problem that a horse has got. Although being in the industry for a long time exposes you to a lot of stuff. And I can tell you that when you get the diet right, when you get the management right, and certainly when you get the trim right, an awful lot of stuff that you've been shoring up with drugs melts away.
Yep.
They become so much healthier. And we come from it from two different perspectives, don't we? We come from it from the perspective of we haven't got that therapeutic option where we can say, well, I'm terribly sorry, it's not going to happen. I think you need to put your foot down, put your horse down. We don't do that. We keep trying. Of course, we don't keep trying when it's gone too far. That's not us. And then we say that there's really nothing we can do. But it takes a lot for us to get to that point. It doesn't take a lot for vets to get to that point. Now, he would argue the toss about that and say that's wrong, but it isn't from what I see out in the big wide world. Now, you see, here's a big difference. If you're a vet in a veterinary practice, you have your clients, and that's it really. Those clients come to you. Now, occasionally the clients will leave you and go to other people, but you don't really find out much about that. And when you go to a client, it is highly unlikely, because you don't see those clients that often, it's highly unlikely they're going to open up to you and tell you all the woes about what happened with the previous vet. It's not likely. They'll tell you they probably weren't happy. That's not what happens with us. We see owners every 6 weeks. And those owners from lots of different places have lots of different vets. And we are therefore able to go, oh, what, they said that. Well, so funny that, because all those say the same. Do you see? So it is a worldwide problem. This isn't just a problem in one veterinary practice. This is a worldwide problem. Now, why is it a worldwide problem? Because it's education. And the education isn't there, and because they're barking up the wrong tree with the science that they've been taught. But we get the opportunity to get to really see a much broader view of what's going on, even though he kept saying you're not open-minded enough, you're not, I just basically said that what he did was cut and paste. I don't think it went down well. Yeah, it's enough of that. It's not going, still going on in the background. I contemplated reading out some of his comments, and then I thought, not giving him airtime. Blah blah blah. Ellie says, in future lives, could we see examples of compacted soles? If you go back on the YouTube channel, you will see things like Coke can feet, and we've talked about compacted soles a lot, and we'll just keep revisiting it because new people join, of course. But you will still see some in the YouTube channel if you scroll down the videos. Don't necessarily search for them. I'd suggest you go down and have a look at the pictures and the words and titles. Melanie says, I agree, PPT is awful. Someone asked for help on another site. One hoof is rotated but disagreed it was the trim, didn't want help. Because obviously systemic laminitis, which is a whole body thing, only happens in one foot. Right then. Naomi Bromley doing a great job round here. Whoop whoop. Well done, Naomi.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I like to hear that.
Lovely lady.
Bethan, that's good news. It's good news. Monica says my HMB Pro merch arrived today. Oh,
yay!
Very good.
We'll be seeing a photo soon.
Got a little badge. You'll be getting your license soon. Oh, look, you're getting little hearts, says Bethan.
Thank you,
Hillary.
everybody. It's just so unprofessional. My thoughts were going, and then they just went.
Hey, you're tired. Hey, says Hillary, I've got 2 clients that have told the vet that the toe ain't getting chopped off. Education is taking over thanks to you both. Now, there's the point, Hillary, because he said to me, what did he say? You sound like you're full of hate. Well, I don't think I sound like I was full of hate. I think I sounded like I was full of that isn't working and this is. And you're discrediting everything I do. No, just that little bit. And I don't know what else you do. And so therefore, nobody's going to listen to you. Basically, I'm okay in my profession as a vet because no one's going to listen to you. Stay in your lane because you're not a vet. So get out of it. Stop criticizing this profession and stay in your lane. And that right there is where all the problems begin. We are who we are. Do not ask questions. Do not question us. And I went, absolutely. We don't want to be heard by the professionals. We're done with that now. We are so done with that. We have had years of trying to, we are still at base camp with these professionals. Before base camp, we're just arriving. I mean, honestly, some vets and pros are going, pardon, what? You do what? I mean, oh my God. And it's like, we've been doing it for years and we've been trying to tell you, but you've not been listening. And now, when it comes to this, when we're getting a little bit bigger and a little bit louder, they're like, oh, well, nobody wants to listen to you. You're not liked in the profession. Now, I don't care. I don't care about you guys. I don't. I care about you guys watching this live. I care about the many, many, many owners who have wept in front of me, on my shoulder, hugging me, crying either in joy or in desperation and frustration. I care about them. I care about you. And you guys, let me tell you, are going to change the world. We have always said it. It will never be the pros. It will be you, because you will go, no. And they'll go, what? No, sorry, I don't need your services. Thank you very much. What do you mean you don't need my services? I say that you should. I'm not chopping the toe off. You can forget it. My horse was awful before. That's PPT. I'm not doing. What do you mean it's PPT? It's personal preference trim. Never heard of that? No, that's because you're not up with what's going on. Trim to the hard sole plane. Oh, well, no, you can't. Yes, and I know all about it. And I'm not having you telling me what to do. At which point they turn around, leave, get in the car and drive away. Because you have changed it. It isn't going to be the professionals. It is pointless. It is banging our heads against. I've got a big lump. Brick wall. We've got big lumps on our heads, front and back.
Not anymore.
It's reducing in size. And it, you know, that's why we, you know, we call ourselves the Phoenix Warriors. It is a fight out there. You know, I know that some people maybe don't like that term, although many do love it. I like it. It is a fight out there, because everywhere you turn, you've got people offering an opinion. And when you actually scratch the surface, you're like, you actually don't have a clue, do you? Not a Scooby-Doo. But they come across as if they do.
As soon as you have the knowledge to stand up, and you just have the courage of your convictions of what you've learnt, whether that be on the YouTube channel, watching these lives, or even doing the challenges, coming on a workshop, when you just ask them 1 or 2 questions and just scratch the surface, most of them back down.
Or shout louder.
Yeah, but I have to say, most of them back down, as long as you've got the confidence.
Yeah. Are we talking about in person? If you're in person, oh yeah, they back down.
In person, it's easy to be a warrior when you're online, isn't it? It's easy to get loud and shouty and personal and all of that kind of stuff. But when you're in person, when you actually start just, really? Chop the toes off. So why is this pony sound then? With no pain relief and da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da. And yeah, well, it's a one-off. Oh, would you like me to show you 100 others? They just can't
get it.
They can't.
And like we said, it's a waste of our effort. I mean, I don't even know why I'm carrying on having this conversation. It's a waste of our effort, because it doesn't get us anywhere. It's just a bit of sport, really. Cawsworth says, I've bowled vets over with just 2 minutes of talking about what we do and the stuff HM has taught me. Literally, they've been stood there with their mouths wide open, not being able to argue anything back, and actually saying, yeah, that actually really makes sense. It's got any comeback.
No.
Not got any comeback. I mean, you know, next time the person comes and tells you to chop your horse's toe off, say, how many horses have you trimmed? How many horses have you balanced? You know, if I'm going to do that, right, I'm going to dump P3 onto the sole, and I sure as hell don't want my horse to have osteonecrosis, because if you've been through that, or you're going through that, you wouldn't wish that on anyone, frankly. Bethan says, I've had a vet say to me, and I quote, I have no idea how to trim a foot. We're not trained to trim hooves. We are just taught to refer to the farrier. Yeah. And in the meantime, tell you how to trim. What?
Hello? But then you've got others, not all vets. I actually admire that vet. This person is being honest. I have no idea how to trim a foot. We're not trained to trim hooves. We are taught to refer to a farrier.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, refer to the farrier. Why are you telling everybody to chop the bloody toes off? It don't make sense.
I was contacted by a friend of a friend, and they had a vet out. Do you remember the story of Dolly?
Yeah.
And we were kicked off royally from helping, but we got the horse on the we saved the horse.
Yeah.
We got a second opinion vet. We stopped the RSPCA impounding her and putting her to sleep. We stopped the original vet who got the police and tried to get this horse to put to sleep. And we said, this horse will recover. If you follow penetration, P3 penetration in one foot, the other one wasn't too great, but this one particular one, and the story's on YouTube for those of you that have watched it. And this second vet said to the owner, she's not put downable now, but she's not going to recover. And then, trundled off and put his farrier in place. And he said, but one thing you can't do is you can't trim like that. You can't leave those toes like that. And he left and he got an old farrier who understood about keeping the heels down and trimming to the hard sole plane. He took off a little bit too much toe than we would have done. But needless to say, he was definitely more along our lines. And a year later, a friend of a friend got because it wasn't sent directly to me, a quote from the owner saying, the vet, blah, blah, the vet came around today to do his yearly checkup. And she was walking around the yard bit because he couldn't get onto the track. It was a bit muddy. So he's walking around the yard. And she said he stood there with his mouth wide open, just in agog, and also smiling and going, unbelievable. This is a senior vet in Kent of his own practice. He's got with other vets there. It's his own practice, senior horse vet. So that means he's seen a lot of situations with fit feet, right? And he's going, wow, that's incredible. I can't believe it. No painkillers, nothing. No, absolutely sound as a pound. He said, that's incredible. I would absolutely have bet money on the fact that that horse would have not survived. And then instead of going, and this is the sub, you're like, God, this is great, this is great, this is great. He's seeing something he's never seen before. Instead of going, how did you do that? What did you do? How did you take that horse from evident P3 penetration to this sound little pony now? Well, I say little pony, she's not that little, but she's not quite a horse, but she's. How did you do it? Sit down, have a cup of tea, and really open out, and really, really start to see something you've not seen. Did he do that? No. At the end of it, saying all these lovely things, he went, but it's not going to last. She will eventually succumb. But she was so chuffed that off he went, and that's it. She signed off, clean bill of health effectively, but he said she's not going to last. I mean, what a thing to say. Instead of saying how, because we would have put that horse to sleep with that kind of penetration. So how, which of course it wasn't. By the time he got there, we'd improved it.
And people label us as arrogant. Oh my God.
God. Bethan says, I don't want to vet bash as we are getting more vets on side. You certainly are. It's fantastic, which is an amazing thing. And we need to foster this relationship. We do with those. Indeed, we do. We've recently had a laminitic referred to us by a vet. Absolutely. Totally. But it's been a long time coming. And frankly, we're worn out with all the rubbish that's come along. And it is lovely that finally some vets are changing. And do you know why?
Because they have to.
It isn't because they just thought, oh, yes.
No.
No.
I was talking to a lady today.
It's because you are who you are, Bethan, and to a certain extent, they want that kind of business and that kind of attachment, which is great.
I was talking to a lady today that had a really nice vet before, for want of a better word, the shit show happened. I think she had some time off or something, and then another vet came and the shit show happened, along with some specialist hoof care person. And when her original vet came back to see this horse and saw the state that horse was in, particularly its feet, this is a vet in the same practice, was horrified.
Same practice.
Same practice. That is wrong. Where is the consistency?
There isn't.
There isn't any. If there isn't consistency in the same veterinary practice, how can there be consistency in hoof care?
Also,
it's just mind-boggling, and we don't want to get onto vet bashing and farrier bashing. What we've got to do is we've got to come out of the dark ages, and we've got to see what's right in front of us. That's what we've got to do.
Just sent me a message.
I can't see it. It's all glary. I can't see it.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, it's gone.
Hang on, let me do that again. Just popped up just this second. How do you know how many horses how many I save? You have no idea about what I do, to be honest. And I'm yet to see. And you know what he'll say? All of your x-rays. Go away now. That was a minute ago. I'm going to turning my phone around, mister. I'm on live talking to people who really want to change their horses themselves. Ingrid says, my vet said that very thing yesterday. Yeah. Pia says, you are still here. Good. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hi, yeah.
I had an osteopath tell the owner of the pony, I trim that the long toes can cause problems higher up. It's just
poppycock. They have no idea.
Do you know why they've got no idea, Connie? Because nobody does it. Only us, properly. I mean,
I suppose my question then, Connie, would be,
so how would they know?
You had the osteopath and told the owner of the pony that I trim that it will cause problems further up. Well, what are the problems then?
Yeah, because
so there's a blanket statement. It's blanket statement. You've got a pony there that you have trimmed to the Phoenix way or Mother Nature's blueprint, and she's saying it can cause problems further up, but the osteopath has been. So what are the problems?
Yeah.
Don't have a blanket statement. Well, if there's a problem, tell me what the problem is.
Yeah.
But she hasn't backed it up.
No.
It's just a flippant remark because that's what they've always been told. They've got nothing to back it up.
No.
Nothing to back it up.
No, because they don't see it.
Because they don't see it.
And yet, that osteopath's in business, good business, a lot of business. So a lot of body workers, they're all in good business. Why? Because there's a lot of horses out there with very, very crappy bodies. Why? Because nobody's trimming properly to the horse's natural constants. Poor Connie then said, I spent the next day reassuring the owner that the trim is going to help and on the end of the hoof will grow out and look normal. I know it's hard.
It is hard.
It's so hard. Sarah says, my vet has never once asked how Squire is doing. Marvelous. I went against all advice and she probably doesn't want to know and admit it worked. May trot him past the front window. She will see him compete in the Island Agricultural Show next year. It does make you feel like doing that, doesn't it? He must be listening to the live. I doubt it. He's not in the group. He was in the group, Becky. Lisa says, it's hard. I know it sounds like vet bashing, but everyone wants proof. However, when you are blocked by the professionals that have the tools to help with the proof, it gets so frustrating. It does. And we don't need that. We do need it for the professionals, but we don't need it for you guys, because you don't care. All you care about is whether your horse is sound or not. Truly, that's all you care about. And the only reason that we need them is to see how the state of P3, and that's not arrogance. We know we don't need to know, because we know if we follow the hard sole plane, and when you've trimmed thousands of feet like we have, you know what the right foot looks like, and you know that there's not a ton of compaction in there, like we could tell with Ellie's foot. You just know because you've seen it, because we're hoof care experts, but we're not allowed to be hoof care experts. Farriers are, but we're not. No, we're not allowed to do that. It's not allowed. Becky says, oh yes, can't remember who had the pleasure of that. Charlotte, I think. Lisa says, I took in a seminar with a large group of body workers and vets and was shot down while looking at the hoof specimens they had. Everyone was told to refer to the one farrier that was there. Oh, you hear it. No, I don't want to hear that. Thank you very much. I remember a long while ago, I was on an online seminar with a farrier, who was trying to put together a scheme that you could refer to. Not scheme's not the right word. In the welfare world, where you could go along, people who were complete lay people, just volunteers, could go along and they'd have pictures of hooves, and they'd say, it was quite scary actually at the time, where they'd say it was graded from 1 to 5 of it being a welfare issue, and how they could then relate that with the RSPCA, and horses could be either put to sleep or taken away, right? This was the whole premise of the thing. And we were quite worried about this, of course, because a lot of horses that we have that are rehabbing were pretty low down on his list, and would have meant that owners would have been in a situation. A person comes to see you from a welfare organization because they've been told to cut, that you've been reported, and they come along, and even though your foot is balanced, the horse is doing better. A bit like what happened with Dolly with the first vet. Even though the animal is improving, they can't get past this horror story of a foot with this toe that they've been told tears lamina, right, amongst other things. And he was trying to get it through that what was going to happen was that these people would come along and see that, and the horse could be taken away. So I joined this online thing, and I stayed very quiet, and in the background I had Gary and Caroline.
You weren't very quiet at all.
Both.
you were on mute.
I was on mute for them, but I was on mute for them. I was yelling to you two, and they had been working all day, separate parts of the country, but we'd all tuned in at the same time. They were tuning in off me, and we were just sat there agog, really. And he kept talking about how he was really into elasticity of the foot and all of that, but that whatever. But he never mentioned laminitis caused by diet and management once. He just said that when the foot gets beyond a certain length, it becomes so elastic that it will just tear apart. And that's really bad, and you shouldn't be doing it. And, these feet should be all neat and tidy. And at the very end, oh God, at the very end, I piped up just the once. And I said, what interests me is that through that entire presentation, you didn't mention laminitis once. And a lot of those horses, probably all of them, in fact, were suffering from inflammation in the foot from one reason or another. And he went, these are neglect cases. They are definitely not laminitis. Do you think I don't know what laminitis looks like? Little girl kind of thing. And that was it. Shut me down, and that was the end of that. And I went back on mute and we all screamed and bawled. And that was the end of that. And I've still got that presentation somewhere because I was able to download it. But this is what we're up against. It's been going on for years. I really don't care anymore. I don't care. It's not them that I'm going to spend my energies on. It's you lovely people. Nikki says, people need to remember that these feet with long toes are recovering from issues and are not being expected to be in full work. It is a temporary state. As they rehab and a better connection grows in, they start more work. They need time, not chop the toe off and or shoe so they can be ridden. Of course, perpetuating the problems in the foot. And that's when we get ring bone, we get the arthritis, the side bone, we get navicular issues, we get podotrochlear imbalances. This is when we start to really have horses that struggle. So yeah, don't hide it. Stop trying to hide it. There's no point. You can't glow up. It's like a glow up. What they want to do is they want to glow up the hoof because it looks a bit rotten to them. So they glow it up, carve the frogs off, chop the toes off. Let's give it a glow up. And inside, the horse is definitely suffering inside that foot. And then they put shoe on, and then they put wedges in, and then they put the dim material in, and then they put the hopper shoe, and then they put wedges on and reverse shoes and keep on going, chasing. Meanwhile, we're like, oh, all you needed to do right back at the beginning is this and this. Do you remember Alan? Yes, that's all you needed to do. Isn't it? All you needed to do. Vivian says, I had an osteopath tell me recently my mare's sensitive DDFT is probably sore because of her low heels and long toe. Since this was Maisie's first osteopath checkup, I asked how would we know if the foot was causing that? We have never checked her DDFT before. She said, I know she wasn't sore before. That's an assumption by her, hey? That's weird, isn't it? Again.
There's a lot of words in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Mare sensitivity to DFT and probably sore because, emphasis on the probably. And then when you ask the question, and they have never checked before, she said that she wasn't sore before. Well, there are lots of things in the body that can change. It's not just the feet. It's clutching at straws because they don't see it.
And also they are
something that they don't understand and they don't see generally. And they think, oh, this has gone wrong. It must be that.
And they're conditioned with little phrases like low heel, long toe. What's that mean to you? That could mean so many different things. But you just think it means one thing. Nikki said, oops, sent it soon. Long toe stretches the sole thin. Oh, yeah. Or pulls the foot forward. We can see the sole in the foot with the laminar stretch in front of it. What are they thinking? I don't know. But like I said, we are done with all of that. What we now do is push forward and help you. And we've created our own school with our own pros that are growing and growing and growing and fixing more horses than could ever be imagined before. You're doing a great job with your trimming, Vivian. You are. You are. Don't you
There was
worry.
somebody else that I spoke to this week, and they said, we are with this particular horse, we're very vigilant. So whenever the horse is worked or gone to a competition, or when we've had something really good that's come out of it, we take pictures of the horse, body condition, feet, everything. If anything's been going wrong, or we think, oh, he was a bit off, then we have x-rays done and all this. And they said that I am going to gather evidence. And because I think I've got a good case. And if that evidence comes back, I'm going to go back to that specialist farrier, and I'm going to go back to that vet, and I'm going to ask for my money back.
Oh, that's going to happen.
And I think that is going. It's the first time a client has actually said that to me, and I think it's not going to be the first. And like we've said many times, the change is happening, and it's coming from the owners.
Like I said to him, I said, don't be worried about us. Don't care about us. I don't care if you care about us at all.
It's not us that you got to worry about. It's those horse owners.
Exactly. I said, don't you worry about us. Worry about the people who pay you.
Yes, you got to worry about them.
That's the ones you need to worry about.
They're the ones, and all somebody's got to do is do it and get a result. And the way that everything is public nowadays, oh my God, that will open the floodgates.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's happening, people.
It is happening.
It's not nice to be able to have to go through all of that, though, and we shouldn't have to. No. But to make that change, it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
And at the moment, he's yelling and bawling because he wants evidence, and his evidence, of course, is a stream of X-rays, even though we can give him evidence as well, and to the contrary. When that evidence comes, the goalposts will change.
Oh, of course they will.
The goalposts will change. Anyway, thank you for a lovely live. We've been on for ages. 1 hour, 26 minutes.
Proper good chin wag.
What are we going to do for Aaron? Aaron listens to our lives on his way to work in the morning, and he's only got an hour journey. That means he'll have to put this live into the second half of his journey.
Perhaps he'll have his earphones on while he's doing his nipping.
While he's doing his dog clipping. All right, lovelies. It was great having you. And
oh, we were talking about the 10-day challenge group call thingy.
Yeah. Wait, don't go anywhere, everybody. Just stay where you are.
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at the people that are booked on it. Aaron's one of them. He's going to be in Aberdeen with us. He can't be in 2 places at once.
No. Right.
Yes, we had the announcement and we just nearly forgot.
I'm going to put this up in the group for you guys because you guys can go first. Diddle-iddy, diddle-iddy, diddle-iddy. This is the link to book on. There you go. That's the link to book on either the New Zealand or the Australian 3-day workshop. So you get it first. You get first dibs. There are 4 venues. I'm going to hold on a minute because I can share my screen. Hold on one momento. Share screen. Here we go. Here's the booking form. Now, don't be confused, folks. This is US dollars. We can't offer it to you in New Zealand dollars or Australian dollars, but when you pay for it, it will just automatically get converted, just like it does when you pay for the actual 3-day challenges, etc. So New Zealand and Australian Tour 2025 3-day horse and hoof care workshops, the booking form, $650 US. Right, we are going to Christchurch. Actually, that's more. I don't know if it's next to Christchurch. I think I need to change that and just put Canterbury for the time being because that is going to be confirmed. In the South Island, New Zealand, on the 28th of February to the 2nd of March. We're then going to Kumeu. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. West Auckland, New Zealand, North Island on the 7th to the 9th of March. We're then going to Wildwood, Sunbury near Melbourne, Australia on the 14th to the 16th of March. And then we're probably going to Yass near Canberra, near to just closer to Sydney in Australia on the 21st and the 23rd of March. And that's to be confirmed. We are definitely doing a workshop on that weekend. If we cannot get the legs for that location, we will be going back to Sunbury, but we will keep you informed. We should know in the next few days. So you can only book one of these 3 at the moment. There's a little bit of bump there. You get a shirt after you've completed it. You'll get a free book. There's Gary's face, look. And you'll get all of this. Go in and have a little read. The thing I wanted to highlight to you, obviously, in the fact that places are limited, book early. It says here, fill in your details and choose your venue below. That's all this down here. But notice this bit. It says, if you would like to pay a 50% deposit now to secure your place instead of the full price at this time, click here, which will take you to another page. But that 50% deposit, folks, is it is non-refundable. Couldn't think of the word then. So you come down here, you look at this, and you choose whichever one you want. Obviously, the 4th one's not up there. You put your details in, you complete your booking, and there's also bits of other things down there, frequently asked questions, etc. And if we click on this link, hopefully it'll stay in the... Can you see that, Gary?
Yeah.
This will take you to the 50% deposit page where you will pay the 50% deposit, spread out your payments, secure your place. It's non-refundable, remember that. And the balance is due 10 weeks before the start of your workshop, and we will invoice you for the balance. And then you just go down here and you choose whichever one, and you pay your 50%, which is 325. Okay? Go, 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 folks. Go and start booking, because we cannot wait to see you. We can't wait. And no, there are no dates yet, Catherine. No date for America, but they will come soon. They will come soon. Thanks. I'm going to the beginning now. Okay, Pia. All right, my lovelies. I'm going to put that up in the group a little bit later so everybody can see that down under. All right. Take care. Lovely to have had you with us. Bye.
Have a great weekend, if it's not the weekend already, for the ones that are in the Southern Hemisphere.
Bye-bye.
Take care.